Morning, guys. I'm quickly banging my drinks together so we can have a chat. So, it's Louis from the UK. I'm doing my usual talking about Elvis so we can defend him. And we've got Priscilla is back on the debate, because the problem I've got, guys, I enjoy doing the other subjects like Aunt Delta and Minnie May and Jerry Schilling and Memphis Mafia and all the other things that we've been talking about, but I always come back to Priscilla because I find that most of the damage, guys, most of the damage done to Elvis's image, legacy, has been done, in my opinion, by Priscilla Presley. And I'm not trying to be hateful about Priscilla. This isn't where I'm going. We're not a hate channel. We're not a let's all hate Priscilla channel. We are a let's find the truth channel so that we can defend Priscilla. Yeah? I mean, not Priscilla, Elvis. And unfortunately, the more we dig, the more we realise that almost all the damage done to Elvis's reputation has been done in the last 40 odd years by Priscilla. And that's a big thing to say, isn't it, guys? That's a big deal, I think. Just 1 second. Welcome to my kitchen, guys. So what I've been doing last night and this morning, I've been going through lots and lots of interviews, just trying to understand why was Priscilla hell-bent on exposing the dark side of Elvis in her interviews and in the 1985 book. So I want to know why, because it's pretty obvious. He gave her, let me just let the dog out, he gave her a fantastic life, didn't he? He gave her a fantastic life. Right, off he goes, dog. He met this 14-year-old girl in Germany in 1959, and within a few years, so let's say 62, 63, she's moved across to America from her very normal, humble existence. There's nothing wrong with being normal and humble, but she was transported to this new life, Gracelands and the other homes, the Memphis Mafia, also Elvis's lifestyle, this crazy but exciting, magnificent lifestyle. And she was right there in the middle of it all. And she said it in her own words. They were very welcoming to Priscilla. When Priscilla first moved over, she was welcomed with open arms by everyone. That included Aunt Delta and Minnie May and the Memphis Mafia and any friends that Elvis had. Priscilla was given a lovely warm welcome by Vernon. And they were renting out cinemas, renting out fairgrounds, roller skating rinks. She was having the time of her life. And when they were together, romantically, Elvis was gentle and caring and loving, made her feel very special. So why is it that when we watch all these interviews, we have to listen to all the negative stuff So then I started looking at these interviews, watching them, and I'm trying to find the negative stuff. And I tell you what, guys, there's a lot. There's a lot. The more I watched, the more I discovered the negative stuff. And it's shocking. And this morning I've got about an hour to go through some of it with you. I'd already done one live. Thanks, Rosalind. Yo. How are you, Rosalind? I love your comments. I always try and reply to your comments. Let's have a look. So Conrad, good day, Conrad. So we've got, I don't think I should say how I feel. It always bothered me, but I wasn't there for some reason. I don't get good vibes from her. Thank you very much. Guys, I know I always say this. I have to say it. I am not a Priscilla hater. This is not a Priscilla hate channel. But I know that I have to research every single interview Priscilla has ever done, everyone, to get to the truth so we can defend Elvis together. I know I have to do it. Yeah. And Rosalind, let me just check my thing. I think Rosalind may be a new member. Is that right? Let's have a look. I just want to thank all my members. And let me just check because it does inform me. Yes. Oh, thank Rosalind and Tonya Logan. Rosalind and Tonya Logan. Thank you so much for becoming members. It really does mean a lot to me. I just want you guys to understand when it comes to the memberships, I don't need money. I'm not trying to get your money. I've got plenty of income. I have a nice lifestyle. I'm semi-retired. I do run a company. But the reason I encourage you guys to become members is because it shows me that you like what I'm doing. It shows me that together we are creating something special that you like. So when you become members, it's only $1 a month. I'm doing something correct. Yeah. And you can cancel at any time. There's no pressure to become members. I love the fact that you are subscribers. It means everything to me. Guys, you must have worked out by now on this channel that I truly do love Elvis and I truly do want to defend him as much as I can. And unfortunately, Priscilla is going to get a hard time from me because I'm exposing all the wrongdoing. And I'm not trying to be hateful to Priscilla. I'm trying to bring her to the table and start admitting that some of the things that she did towards Elvis have been very unfair, very unfair. And I'm also trying to be fair where I do still discuss the negative things that maybe Elvis did. That Elvis is no angel. Elvis did make some mistakes. But in comparison, as a human being, there is no comparison. Elvis, I can't even put it in words. If we try and compare Priscilla to Elvis, there is no comparison. That's as well as I can put it. So I'm going to go through some things with you now, guys. So a special thank you to Rosalind and Tonya for becoming members. It really does mean everything to me. So I'm going to... Let's just let the dogs in. Come on, in you go. Right, the dogs are in. I've got 2 Jack Russells and they're going to be with us as well. So welcome to my kitchen. I'm in Southwest UK. I turned 57 on July the 10th. So in a few days, 3 days, I'm going to be 57. Right. So we've been discussing Priscilla a lot this morning. I don't know if any of you watched the first live I've done. I've been really going through lots of interviews. I also wanted to read some of your comments. But what I'm trying to touch on some of the high points that were the negative things that have been said about Elvis. Now, one of them is that Elvis would not sleep with Priscilla after she'd had a baby. We have completely proved that that is a massive lie. I've even found the video footage of her in different interviews. One interview saying that Elvis would not sleep with her after the baby was born, I think to Barbara Walters. I'll try and find it in a sec. And I've also found her in the UK, on the Loose Woman interview in the UK, saying, no, we did still have sex after the baby was born. So I found the lies, guys. But the other thing that bothers me is the way that Priscilla paints her life. So basically what she does is, I meet Elvis in Germany. Eventually he invites me over. Well, that isn't completely correct because she was begging to come over and she was on his case to bring her to America, to convince her parents to allow her to come. So let's remember this, guys, that Priscilla had a very full life in Germany. And if you know anything about this book and believe anything about this book, that this was not a naive, shy, quiet girl. This was not an innocent girl. This was quite a worldly girl, even though she was so young. So then she enters Elvis's world. I think she visited a couple of times. And by 17, she's getting ready to live in America, live either in Graceland or one of the other houses, or in Vernon's house with Vernon and Dee. Now, this is what bothers me. This is the problem, guys, that once she moves to America, now when she looks back on that move, she acts as if everything went wrong for her, that her life was difficult, that she lost herself. She had no sense of herself, that Elvis fully controlled everything she did when it comes to her hair, her makeup, the clothing she wore, how she acted, how she walked. Now, this is a massive lie. I have found video footage of Priscilla boasting that she loved her beehive hair. She loved her dark set makeup and how she dressed, made her feel older. So we have got big contradictions here. Now, yes, Elvis had a sense of style. So he would give her advice. Oh, that suits you. This looks good on you, but never controlling, never. And this is what is so unfair about all these interviews that have gradually over 40 odd years have evolved into almost like a pre-recorded answers. So you've got the interviewers are interviewing Priscilla. Oh, what about this? What about that? Did he control you? Did he have a temper? Was he unfaithful? Did he force you how to do your hair? Did he tell you how to walk and act? Oh, is it true that you felt that you'd lost yourself and you didn't know who you were? It's all been manipulated to this staged speech that comes out on many of the interviews that is all from the point of view of Priscilla, that is just completely unfair to Elvis. And Elvis has had no say in it. Elvis has had no say in the fact he definitely didn't have a say in this book and in all the interviews that are being happening around the world, in every country. Elvis isn't there to defend himself. So she has been given a platform to say whatever she wants, and there's no one to disagree with her. Now, how is that correct? How is it right that Priscilla is the authority in Elvis? How is it right that any interviewer, any biography, documentary, they go to Priscilla for all the answers? How one-sided is that? It is so one-sided, it's ridiculous. And this is also happening with the Memphis Mafia. You've got this very one-sided view of Elvis and his life and his good bits and bad bits, his mistakes. And there's no one there sticking up for Elvis. Nobody. These interviewers that are interviewing the Memphis Mafia and Priscilla, they're just going along with it. Priscilla gives the answer. They're treating it like it's history. So Priscilla says something. Oh, Elvis wouldn't sleep with me after I had a baby. Okay. They believe it. Yeah. Priscilla says, oh, Elvis was the unfaithful one. They believe it. She didn't tell them that in 1968, 6 weeks after Lisa Marie was born, that she'd had an affair with the dance instructor. She didn't tell them that, even though she does lightly mention it in this book. Now, what should be happening is this. Oh, is it true Elvis was unfaithful? Oh, yes. You know, in '63, when we weren't engaged, and I just first moved over to America to live with Elvis, and I was living at first in Vernon's house. Yes, Elvis was still seeing other people. Now that is more truthful. They weren't engaged, they weren't married. Elvis was a single man, really, at first. When she first moved over, the first few years, Elvis was a single man. So he's portrayed as this serial person that was very unfaithful. No, he was a single man. Anyway, we're going to have a lot of different views on this, but this is what I think. So then you've got, I watched an interview with Jonathan Ross, the UK interviewer, Jonathan Ross. He says to Priscilla, oh, 68 must have been such a good year for you guys. You had a baby, you had just been married, and the 68 comeback special happened, and it was so successful for you. Yeah, simple question. The interviewer has asked this question. You think, yeah, 68 must have been a great year. No. Jonathan Ross, you are wrong. 68 was one of the worst years of Elvis's life up until the end of March. After March, Elvis pulls his socks up and gets on with his career, and the 68 comeback special is fantastic. The best comeback ever. It made the Beatles look like that. Yeah? So I've got a lot of praise about the 68 comeback special. But the reality is, Elvis in 67 got married, a very public wedding, went round the world. Obviously, they got engaged first. That went round the world. And remember, this was in December 66. They got engaged, and you can see the engagement videos on YouTube. Elvis was very excited, and you can see when he gives her the ring and she gets all embarrassed. Should we have a look? Let's see if the video comes up so I can show you it. So from Elvis's point of view, he's gone through 63, 64, 65 with Priscilla living at Greystands or in one of the other homes. And he's a bit naughty. He's seeing different co-stars. It could be Juliet Prowse or Anne Margaret or other people. Even the tail end of Anita Wood. Okay, so I accept that fully. Elvis, in his mind, was not in a relationship with Priscilla until they got engaged in December 66. So, right, let's have a look. Elvis and Priscilla get engaged. Let's just see if it comes up. Let's see if the video footage comes up, because we're allowed to. It's one, she comes down the stairs. I don't think it's going to come up. So let me try it on a different platform. Because I know it's there, because I've watched it a million times. All right, let's just turn down the volume. So if you look at it, Elvis gets engaged. Let's see if it comes up. Right, we've got one of the ring. But no, that's the one they're married. Here we are. I'll show you this one at first. Right, this is the engagement, yeah? She's proudly showing off the ring. She's giving him a kiss. You can clearly see they are both beaming with happiness. Elvis, look, I'll play it again. Elvis, beaming with happiness. I know it's not clear. Yeah? So let's find the one where he actually gives her the ring. I hope that we can find that. I've seen it so many times, and this time it's not letting me share it. Right, Elvis. Let's just we'll go a different way. We'll go Elvis and Priscilla and see Elvis and Priscilla. Right. It's going to come up. Right, let's have a look. It's very clear that when they got engaged, It's very clear that there was a real happy time when they got engaged. I wonder if it will show it here. No, but do you know what? It's not showing it. But I want to show you this. So you can see they had some happy times. And I think these happy times Hi, Rosalind. How are you? Thanks for being a member. Really matters to me. I really appreciate your comments and your membership. Thank you for joining me this morning in the UK. It's around 10:15 a.m. I'm in southwest Bristol. So I'm just showing you. They had some good times, guys. And this is what upsets me. Look, that piece, look at that bit there. That's when she was unfaithful. When that baby, you see that horrible, not horrible, the beautiful footage there with the baby. Elvis didn't know that she at that time was being unfaithful with the dance instructor. Look how happy Elvis looks. Elvis had no idea that she was seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor then. Bearing in mind, she's admitted this. She has admitted this in her book. Look, Elvis is being very lovely and cuddly. Hi, Nadia. So I still want to find the bit where she comes down where they get engaged. But do you see what I'm saying to you guys? That we got that lovely footage of beautiful Lisa Marie as a baby, and Elvis and Priscilla are together and they're very proud, and you can see that Elvis is beaming with smiles. But in March of 1968, and we have proven this, but I'm still going to say it's our opinion, he didn't know this. She was seeing Steve Peck behind his back just after the baby was born, 6 to 7 weeks. Now that footage I've just shown you, to me, that baby is 1 to 2 months old. 1 to 2 months old, that baby. And Elvis is so happy looking. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that there is a dark side to Priscilla, in my opinion. I'm still trying to find it. When they got engaged. Normally I find it's Elvis and Priscilla. I'll say engagement ring. See if it comes up, engagement ring. How's it going, Nadia? Right, let's have a look here. So we've got, but it's showing the ring. We don't want to see the ring. We want to see the engagement. So let's try this. No, they're just talking about the ring. We don't want to talk about the ring. We want to see when Elvis, she walks down the stairs. I've got a feeling it's not going to come up, guys, which is annoying. Right, one more try. I'm not going to give up yet. But Elvis, I'll just write, Elvis asks Priscilla to get engaged. Elvis proposes to Priscilla. See if it comes up, guys. We're going to get on the video. If it doesn't come up, we're going to have to give up and carry on. I'll carry on what the things that I want to tell you. What's this? No. Okay. We're not going to find it. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's carry on with what we're saying. So you've got this beautiful engagement. It really shows it. Color footage. It's all there on YouTube if you look for it. Elvis looks very happy. Priscilla looks very happy. Elvis fulfills his promise. Elvis said, stick with me and one day I will marry you. He fulfills his other promise. One day I'll bring you to live with me at Graceland. He's doing everything right. There's no sex. There is cuddling and kissing. So from his point of view, Priscilla, this sweet virgin that was an innocent girl, that he saw something in her. He saw potential in her where he felt they could be happy together, have a family together. And which I think, isn't that the way all men are? You look to your possible wife to be, you want to respect them, you want to think they're decent and that they could be a good mother to your children and you could have a life with them and be best friends with them. So she moves over. The first 2 or 3 years, Elvis still classed himself as single. And I do think that was probably quite cruel to Priscilla, even though I have now heard there's a possibility that she may have also been unfaithful. But anyway, let's jump forward. December 1966, they get engaged. Elvis has fulfilled his promise. They're engaged to be married. The marriage date gets set, May the 1st, 1967. They have a very public marriage. It goes around the world. Beautiful marriage. It looks lovely. Everyone's talking about it. And then there's a lovely pregnancy. Now, we know that a pregnancy is a very special time. I've had 5 children with my wife, and every pregnancy was very important, very special, a real bonding time before the baby's even born. It brings a real closeness to a couple. Well, even this 8-minute marriage thing that we get told about, I'm not convinced with that, because the marriage was bigger than everyone thinks. There was more people involved in that marriage than you think. You have to do your homework and research. There was like a small marriage that only certain people were invited to. This had something to do with Colonel Tom Parker as well. But then there was a big reception at Graceland and other things, I think. So the marriage was not as a shotgun marriage as everyone thinks it was. But you look into that, Nadia, and you'll start seeing that. So anyway, so they have sex. Elvis fulfilled his promise that they wouldn't have sex until the night of the wedding. 9 months later, Lisa Marie is born. Elvis has done everything that he promised. I'll get engaged to you. I'll bring you to America. I'll get engaged to you. We're going to save our sex until the night of the wedding. She gets pregnant 9 months later. Beautiful Lisa Marie is born. It's a very public birth. There's pictures that go around the world showing Elvis and Priscilla looking very happy, which we've just looked at that, haven't we? Let's have a look. And they just look great. Elvis is beaming with happiness, beaming. And why would anyone think any different? Why would anyone think any different? If you are the public and you don't know the inside details, they did do very intimate things before. Well, Nadia, I love it when you say things to me. I love it when you say things to me. Now, remember, Nadia, this is a fairy tale. Nadia, I'm looking at you. This is a fairy tale. In this book, Priscilla says they did things before. In this book, we don't actually know, do we? Because this book is Priscilla's version of things. And remember, Priscilla is playing the victim. She wants people to think that Elvis was a paedophile and was abusive towards a 14-year-old girl. She wants us to think that. She does. But actually, if you do your homework, she only ever admits properly to kissing. Then she indirectly insinuates that Elvis did other things. But Nadia, do you believe it though? Remember, she's trying to get people on side. She's trying to play the innocent virgin that was a victim of Elvis. Remember that. You have to open your eyes, because everything I have learned about Elvis is that he did have self-control when it comes to Priscilla, and he did wait until the wedding night before they had sex. So keep an open mind. And she admits that in the book. Let me just put some more hot water in my coffee. Nadia, she admits that. But I'm just replying to your comment, and you know that if you say something to me, Nadia, that I think that we need to look into, I'm not going to agree with your comment. I'm not going to go, Nadia, you've just said to me, they did do very intimate things before. Well, prove it. That's what I say. Prove it. Were you there? Do you know anyone that was best friends with them that she confided to and had said, oh, by the way, Elvis touched me up inappropriately when I was 14? No. There's no proof. And I won't allow this book to be the proof, because this isn't proof. This isn't history. This is a fairy tale that was rewritten, a rewriting of history that is not fair to Elvis, that the whole world has fallen for. And every interviewer on the planet, when they ask their questions, they base it on what was written in this book. And that is so unfair, because did Elvis have any say in this book? Did Elvis have one word say in this book? No, he had no say. This is Priscilla's version of events, which are not true, in my opinion. This is, how can I say it? This is an alternative universe book. This could have been, you know, those TV programs where people create an alternative history. This is it. Not fact. Priscilla does not have the authority to speak on Elvis's behalf. Who gave Priscilla the permission to speak on Elvis's behalf? Who? Nobody. Now, we can listen to the interview from Elvis's girlfriends, from the Memphis Mafia, from Elvis's family members, but the only person that really knows what really went on that we can trust is Elvis. He's not here to defend himself. So when you say to me they were very intimate before, I say no, prove it. I say that. So, and I say it in a very respectful way, Nadia, because you and me are friends, but we have to keep an open mind. Anyway, so you think about how it's going, guys. They have the baby. We've got this beautiful footage of them together, really happy. Should we find it again? Let's see if it comes up. Well, here we go. Beautiful footage of them together, really happy, even though she makes out as if she hated her life and that she was controlled and she really suffered. Poor Priscilla. She had such a hard time. Look at her. She looks so unhappy. She had lost herself. She needed to find herself. Elvis treated her like a prisoner, and Elvis groomed her and controlled her and made her miserable. Do you see that? Do you see that, guys? It's such a load of rubbish. Yeah? So when Elvis does finally, I think Marty Lacker, who mentioned that you walk him out, I don't like the wording either. I don't trust Marty Lacker. Sorry, guys. I don't trust hardly any of the Memphis Mafia. The only Memphis Mafia that I believe so far are Charlie Hodge and Bill Smith, the cousin. So far, no one else. No one else. They're all two-faced backstabbers, but I also accept that they do have a good side as well that did love Elvis. I will be fair. So what I'm trying to say to you, again, I just found another one. Is it another one? So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that Elvis fulfills his promise. He gets engaged. He gets married. He gets her pregnant. Don't forget, they wanted a baby. Well, actually, you guys are telling me that Priscilla didn't want a baby because she felt by getting pregnant she was going to lose Elvis. So that's a story in itself. And then, so Elvis is all happy. 1968 is looking good. I think at this point, he didn't even know about the comeback, the 68 comeback at this point. He's got this beautiful baby that he's really proud of. Pictures going around the world. Color footage. Elvis holding Lisa Marie with his arm around Priscilla. And then bang, there's an explosion. Priscilla has been dating the guy that owned the dance studio secretly, the dance instructor, and having an affair with him 6 weeks after the birth of Lisa Marie. Now, this was like an atomic bomb had exploded in Elvis's life. You have to put yourself in his shoes. I'm being honest. Elvis has lived like a single man until December 1966. So yes, he probably was unfaithful to Priscilla. Then 1966 comes along. He decides that he's going to commit for whatever reason. I've already found an interview where Priscilla says that he was pressured into the marriage. From her own words, when she was being interviewed by Barbara Walters says, "Why did you get married?" And she says he was under a lot of pressure to get married. Her own words. I'm going to try and find it in a minute. So then Elvis goes ahead with the engagement, with the marriage, has the baby, and then the baby is born, the whole world's watching, and boom, atomic explosion. Your wife, who has just had your baby, Lisa Marie, is having a sexual affair. Could you imagine? This is in February to March 1968. You imagine, guys. You come on, put yourself. Even if you're female, and many of you are on this channel, even if you're female, and to the men watching this channel, what are you going to do when you find out 6 weeks after the baby's born that your wife is sleeping with another man? Are you going to go, "Oh, well, that's okay. I'll just get on with my life. I'll go and do the 68 special"? No, that isn't what happened. I'll tell you what happened. He couldn't bear to look at her. He went crazy. He was humiliated, embarrassed. He felt stupid. He'd lost his pride. I'm Elvis Presley. These sort of things don't happen to me. But it had. Elvis didn't know which way to turn. So the only thing he could do is refuse to sleep with her. Refuse to sleep. I will not sleep with Priscilla because she has been unfaithful 6 to 7 weeks after the child was born. I can't even look at her. Our marriage is finished. Our marriage is broken. That is what happened in 1968. So when Jonathan Ross, the interviewer in the UK, says to Priscilla, "Oh, was 1968 the best year of your life?" Because obviously it was the year that you had a baby, Lisa Marie. It was the year of the 68 comeback special. It was not long after you got married. No. I banged my hand on the table. No. It was not the best year of her life. But in that interview, yes, the Jonathan Ross interview, he clearly asked that question. Was 68, Nadia, was 68 the best year of your life? And she says yes. When in her mind, she sat there looking at Jonathan Ross, and in her mind, she knows that a couple of months after Lisa Marie was born, around March, that she was sleeping with another man. And her baby was still not even crawling yet. So no, it was not the best year of her life. So she's lying to Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross, the interviewer, genuinely believes, you look it up, Nadia, genuinely believes that 68 was a great year for Elvis. He doesn't remember. He doesn't know. He should have known because he's an interviewer. He should have done his, as a journalist, he should have known better. He should have done his research and he should be aware of that romance because it's in the book. She clearly admits that in the book that just after the baby was born that she had an affair. She admits it. She changes the name, but she admits it. And Jonathan Ross, what he should have said in the interview, guys, he should have said, "Priscilla, you and Elvis, you know, unfortunately things didn't work out for you. Why did you have an affair just after Lisa Marie was born?" Even though Elvis then went on to have a fantastic year with the 68 comeback special. And then she should have answered, "You're right. I had an affair. I made a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking." And yes, Elvis did pull his socks up and just face the future and turn 1968 into one of the best years of his life. That is how it should have been. But she didn't. She went, he said, wasn't that a great year for you? And she went, yes, it was. And then she goes on to talk about Steve Bender and all the ideas of the 68 comeback special and passes by the subject, changes the subject within seconds, and it's been missed. No one knows about the affair. No one knows that the affair happened just after the baby was born. Do you get where we're going, guys? And then this is what I've learned. You can watch dozens of interviews. And when they get to 1968, she skips over the affair. She skips over it. Even with the interview with Barbara Walters, which I think was quite a severe interview, she skips over the Steve Peck affair. They mention the Mike Stone affair, but the reason she brings up the Mike Stone affair is because she feels that the Mike Stone affair, she can excuse it by blaming Elvis. Oh, Elvis did this, Elvis did that, Elvis was controlling, he groomed me. I had no sense of myself, I had no sense of my own life. And this is why I eventually wouldn't take it anymore and I ran away with Mike Stone. So I'll repeat that, guys. The narrative that she puts out. My life was hell. So of course, I had no option other than to run away with Mike Stone. That is what we're told. And it is a lie. In my opinion, it is a lie. That isn't what happened. Elvis gave her everything. He gave her the engagement, the marriage, the baby. He gave her this amazing life. As much riches as she could ever dream of. The dream life that she nagged him for. But don't forget, she begged him to allow her to come to America. He gave her a dream life. And then Priscilla has spent the last 40 odd years telling people how that life was not a dream. And she couldn't wait to get out of it. And her actions have shown by the unfaithfulness to Elvis in 68 in March. And by what also went on with Mike Stone, that she has a very dark side, a very cunning side that was very nasty, very nasty. And I'm not doing this to hate on Priscilla. I'm doing this to defend Elvis. This is my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. I won't say it's fact. I'm not allowed to say it's fact. It's my opinion. But guys, you can read the books, you can look at the interviews, but we know that she, and I keep coming back to this pivotal moment, she did have an affair months after the baby was born, and we have proved it. So everything after the affair, it doesn't matter, because Elvis at that point has said, it's over, I'm getting on with my life. And thank God that Elvis went on to do the 68 comeback special, and he just was fantastic. And then he moved on further and did the 69 comeback in Vegas, and he was fantastic. But within all that, even in the 69 comeback, by the time we get to the middle of 1971, she's at it again. She is at it again. Yeah, with Mike Stone. And I will defend Elvis just on those two things. And I would not accept people saying to me, oh, he had affairs in 63, 64, 65 with Anne Margaret, with Juliet Prowse and with other co-stars. I don't accept it because he was a young man that was single. She had moved to America. They weren't together. They weren't engaged. And then when people discuss anything that Elvis did after 68, whether it be Susan Henning, who, by the way, who had already had a baby, which proves that Elvis will sleep with a woman that's had a baby. And I've also found video footage of Priscilla admitting that they did have sex after Lisa Marie was born. That is on the Loose Woman show in the UK. It's an interview. Look it up. Loose Women, UK. She clearly admits they were having sex after the baby was born. So we know she was lying, in our opinion. And then we move forward. And in 1971, I have found a video that was sent to me by one of the subscribers of Mike Stone admitting that Priscilla went out of her way to sort out Mike Stone because she was determined to get with Mike Stone, even butting into his conversation when he didn't even know her. He didn't even know her. She just barged in and started talking to him. And he knew very quickly that she was gunning for him. And this is in the middle of 1971, May 1971. I'm going to read your comments in a second. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that the victim was Elvis. Elvis was the victim. Elvis tried to do the right things. But once he had caught her being unfaithful, everything was out the window. The relationship was over. And every relationship Elvis had after 1968 in March, he was not being unfaithful, because to him, there was no marriage. There was a charade. So Elvis, for a couple of years after catching Steve Peck, carried on with his life. And yes, thanks to Annie, he did many things. They went on holidays in Hawaii, the Bahamas, in Colorado. They were seeing Tom Jones. They saw Muhammad Ali. They went to the JC Awards together. They attended many of Tom Jones's shows. And so Elvis put on a brave face and tried to keep a public image so that he didn't want to, he was embarrassed that their relationship was a joke, but for the sake of Lisa Marie and his public image, he carried on going to different engagements because he wanted to look like a happily married family, because he was ashamed to admit that the wedding was a joke. The wedding was fake. But the truth is, when they were traveling around together as a couple, it was fake news. It was fake news. They were over. And she very quickly, because it didn't take her long, did it? She very quickly jumped into bed with Mike Stone and took Elvis's daughter with her. Because remember, when they split up, two families broke up. Mike Stone and Priscilla Presley broke up two families that both had children. And she went skipping down the road with Lisa Marie. And we have even got pictures and footage of her out and about as a family with Mike Stone and Lisa Marie. And how cruel was that to Elvis? How cruel was that to Elvis? That in 1972, because they were finished by 72, guys, she's around parading herself with her new boyfriend, holding Lisa Marie's hand. And you even see the new boyfriend, Mike Stone, in bumper cars at a fair and shopping with Lisa Marie and Priscilla. Come on, guys. It's as bad as it gets. Imagine if my wife left me tomorrow and then a few months later she's shopping with my daughter. Could you imagine that? And the whole world is watching. This is what happened with Elvis. The humiliation Elvis had to put up with is heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching. But Elvis kept on a brave face and got on with his life and made a massive success of his life. Because I don't care what anyone says about Elvis. Elvis from 68, 69, 70, 71, 72 had a magnificent time. He had the most successful life you can have. He had 5 or 6 magnificent years. And he stood tall and proud. And he got through this horrific experience that his wife had put him through. You get where I'm coming from, guys? I know I'm passionate and I do tend to shout a bit, but we need to expose the truth. We need to get to the truth. We need to stand up for Elvis. We need to search for the truth and defend Elvis and show the world what really happened. What really happened. Not, oh, Elvis was a shagabout and he abused Priscilla and Priscilla was the poor victim. Because most people think that the reason that Elvis and Priscilla split up is because Elvis was unfaithful. It is a lie. It is a lie. Right, I'm going to read your comments, guys. I think I've got about 20 minutes before my wife gets home with the kids. So, right. So I'm really sorry about my rant. And good morning to you all in the UK. Welcome to my home. Welcome to our channel. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. And if you want to be a member, like Nadia is a new member. And let me just say the name of the other member. Is it Rosalind? I do like to boast Tonya and Rosalind. New members, thank you so much. It means everything to me. I send you love. Please join, guys. It's pennies, but it means everything to me. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Yep, Nadia says she was begging to come to America. She definitely was. I think Marty Lacker was mentioned that she wore him out in Germany. I don't like the word, but what does that mean? What does that mean? I'd have to relook at that interview and try and see if Marty Lacker is just trying to make Elvis look bad, because some of these interviews, the Memphis Mafia, are just making Elvis look that. By the time engagement came, she surely knew the deal with Elvis. She 100%. She wanted it. Come on. He was a superstar, the most famous man in the world. She wanted everything Elvis. So to then act like it was some kind of prison sentence is so unfair. So you're saying there was social pressure, meaning to get married? I think he had a lot of different pressures to get married from many angles. Jonathan Ross is okay, but what I don't like about Jonathan Ross, Nadia, is when he takes the piss out of Elvis. He takes the piss out of Elvis. I don't like it. But I know that Jonathan Ross genuinely loves Elvis and he's a genuine fan. But just sometimes in his interviews, he goes on a tangent. He's trying to get a laugh, trying to get a rise, and at Elvis's expense. So I'm 50-50 with Jonathan Ross. Nadia, yes. We need honesty from Priscilla. We need honesty, not a one-sided, twisted rewriting of history. Hi, Matt. Hope you enjoyed the game. My son is so happy. So happy. I've known quite a few couples where in public knowledge they both play away and yet they will never admit to it. But fair enough, Matt. But I actually think in 1967 and 1968, Elvis didn't want to play away. I think he had committed to, he was going to give it a go. He was going to try and make this small family work and be a good father and a good husband. But I'll be honest, it's very unlikely that Elvis was going to be able to, with all the temptation that he was getting, that he was going to stay faithful and stay loyal and be a really good father. I think it was going to be a tough challenge for Elvis. But come on, once she'd been unfaithful in 68, just after the baby was born, just after the marriage, all rules changed. It was game over. So she actually opened the door for Elvis for the floodlights, didn't she? Yeah? He could do what he wants. Once Priscilla had smashed that marriage up, smashed it, Elvis could do what he wanted, and he did. He went on to massive success. She missed out. Priscilla missed out. Remember the late 60s, Summer of Love, hippie movement. Everyone went with everyone. Yeah, they did, but not Elvis. Remember, Elvis was very old-fashioned. He grew up in Mississippi, Tupelo. He went to church every week with his parents. Elvis had really good morals, yeah? But the problem you've got is this, is that when Elvis felt single, because I think Elvis felt single after 68 because of what she did. Yeah, I'm single. I'll do what I want. And I think that's how Elvis felt. He felt betrayed, and I would say you could almost say he was out for revenge because he wanted to prove that he could have anyone, even though his wife completely let him down. Rosalind. It's 4:30 a.m. in Tennessee. In the book Elvis and the Memphis Mafia, all of them badmouthed Elvis. Even Billy Smith participated. I think Lisa turned against him. And I think they all regret it. Rosalind, I'm going to look into Billy Smith because I haven't seen him say anything negative yet, but it's very possible, definitely. And you are dead right. All of the Memphis Mafia have said things about Elvis that they should not have said. He was best friends with those guys. He completely trusted them and they betrayed him. I will also say good things about the Memphis Mafia because I don't think they were all bad, but they did betray him. Helen, hi, how are you, Helen? Totally agree, Nadia. Priscilla knew what Elvis was like prior to her marriage to Elvis, unless Priscilla thought she could change Elvis. Yeah, she knew what she was getting into when she moved to America, guys. She was getting into this magnificent, amazing life. It was almost like joining the royal family. Come on. The lifestyle that Priscilla moved to was amazing. It was a dream come true. And to belittle it and ridicule it the way she does in her interviews is wrong. It is plain wrong. Elvis knew his numerous girlfriends was hard on Priscilla. He forgave her even for Mike and tried to make up with Pete. She didn't want to. She wanted her freedom. And then when she asked, I don't agree, Nadia. I don't think Elvis forgave Priscilla for Mike. I don't think Elvis forgave Priscilla for Steve Peck or Mike Stone. I think that he just put on a brave face and got on with things and looked forward and just tried to get on with his life. I think he was completely traumatized by Mike Stone and by Steve Peck, and he never got over it, ever. And there's no way he'd forgive her. And I do not think that they were still friends. I don't believe a word of it. I think Priscilla says they were friends. I think secretly they had a horrible battle. And do you know why I think it, Nadia? Because of the divorce settlement. The second divorce settlement clearly shows there was bad blood, serious bad blood. And anyone new to this channel, you look up the second divorce settlement and you will see that there was no friendship there. No friendship. If anything, they were arguing daily over Lisa Marie. So I totally disagree with that. Wanted back. And even the thing where Priscilla wanted him back, I'd need to do more research about that. And, you know, where Elvis said to her no, I'd need to see more proof of that. Many of you have said it to me. I want more proof. No, I don't believe they were friendly. I believe that he put on a public face, like when they came out of the divorce, yeah, because he wanted the public to see that he was being a kind, fair man on behalf of Lisa Marie and to the world with Priscilla. And he's a nice guy. Elvis wanted to keep it civil. Elvis is a decent, kind human being. It's not his nature to be nasty. And I think only put on a public face. But I think behind the scenes, Elvis and Vernon Presley were screaming and pulling their hair out. And I don't think they were friends at all. I think it's a charade. This is just my opinion. Lisa said that she didn't realize her parents were divorced as a child. I've seen that interview and I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Rosalind, not sure if Charlie Hodge participated in the book. I'll have to check that. Rosalind, so far, Rosalind, I haven't seen anything negative about Charlie Hodge. So far, he's one of the good members of the Memphis Mafia. But before I say 100% that Charlie Hodge was completely right with Elvis, I need to watch more interviews with Charlie Hodge and just really know it. But so far, Billy Smith and Charlie Hodge seem to have been the nicer ones. But it's early days, guys. This is a very new channel where we're all here together defending Elvis. We're still learning as we go together. So I feel like we've only been going for under a month on the search for the truth and this little movement that we've got together where we are united to defend Elvis. I think it's early days, guys. And remember, we are one big family and we're doing this together. This isn't my channel. This is our channel. Priscilla loved playing mind games with Elvis. This is Helen over Lisa Marie. It was her way of getting back at him. Priscilla is still angry at Elvis to this day. And her films, Priscilla showed that. Do you know what, Helen? What a good comment. What a good comment. The Priscilla film clearly showed that secretly there is resentment against Elvis. Resentment. It may have been built up from the 3 years, you know, when Elvis was doing the movie 63, 64, 65, you know, and having these different co-star affairs. And when she wasn't actually officially with him, but she was still being heartbroken every day. And it was a bit cruel. And I do think you're right. There's some resentment and some revenge. And that film, Priscilla film, with Sofia Coppola's film, shows that, I think. Because why release it? Why allow for that film to be released even though she knew that Lisa Marie did not want it made, and Lisa Marie had passed away, and she still went around the world promoting that film. We know damn well that that film should never have been made, that Priscilla should never have allowed it, and even more, once Priscilla had died, Lisa Marie had passed away, Priscilla should have distanced herself from that film. But no, she wanted the limelight. She wanted to go around the world being interviewed about the Priscilla film and hold her head up high. Poor me, I'm the victim. And the whole point of that film was to make Elvis look bad and to make her look like the victim. And that is so unfair. So unfair. So you get what I'm saying? I'm completely on your side, Helen. You got that completely right. Right. I think it was Billy Smith who said that Elvis really tried his best for the marriage to work. Yeah, a few of them have said it. I've seen a few of the Memphis Mafia members say that once Elvis got engaged in December 1966, he had said he was going to give it a go. He was going to give it a go. And I totally believe that Elvis in 67, December 66, 67, and right up until March 68, Elvis was completely faithful and loyal and really tried his best. He did not know that was going to happen. He did not know that the volcano was going to erupt in March 68 and that Priscilla was going to be unfaithful. He did not see it coming. He was completely taken aback and shocked by it. I'm trying to get this all in now quickly before my wife gets home, but we're going to do a part 2 to this. Let's have a look. Thanks for that comment, Nadia. Elvis did not want to marry her. He did not want to marry her. There was no reason to push Elvis into the marriage. Elvis not. Yeah, I agree, Teresa. There was a lot of pressure. I personally think he was 50-50. He did and he didn't. He did and he didn't. I think there was a bit of that. Nadia, have you sent it me? Have you? The divorce deposition. Let's have a look. Right. Yeah, Nadia, did you send it me on an email? Because I haven't got it here. Do you have my email, Nadia? So yes, Nadia, please do send the divorce deposition to me. And I do watch Presley Mania with Rhonda. It's a brilliant channel. So you can't change anybody. Is that so? Thanks, Teresa, for your comments. We know you love Elvis. Elvis's southern upbringing, pressure from the colonel made the marriage inevitable. She wasn't a good idea, though. Right, Matt. I think that he was too nice for his own good, Elvis. Too nice for his own good. The Mafia book told everything they said about Elvis. You should review the book. It's a huge book. Rosalind, the problem I've got is that there are so many topics to cover. And because I've got 5 kids, I'm trying to squeeze in a bit here and there. But I definitely, Rosalind, I definitely do intend to do a lot on the Memphis Mafia. It's all coming. But I need to do my research first. I try not to cover anything unless I've done some research. I'm not good at reading books. I'll be honest with you, Rosalind. I don't enjoy reading. I prefer to go through everything on Google and through interviews. I'm not allowed to read books out word for word. It's against YouTube's copyright rules. So I can't just open a book and start reading it. But what I can do is read sections and then review sections. But that isn't really my thing. But I'm going to. I did read another chapter of this the other day, and I wanted to review it with you guys. But it isn't really my thing. On Messenger. Right, I'll just double check. Nadia. So me and Nadia are messaging each other on Messenger, but it hasn't come through. When I click on that link, it just comes up with the June Junico video that you sent me, Nadia. It doesn't. I've got the. Oh, right. You mean the video? Right. You mean this video? Right. Okay. Yes, I'll watch that, Nadia. I'll watch that. Yeah, I have already watched it, but I'll watch it again. Right. Okay. Yeah, I will watch that. I'll do it later on. I watched it a few weeks ago. So thanks for that, Naja. I appreciate that. Elvis had promised Priscilla's stepfather and mother that he would marry her, and Elvis was a man of honor and kept his word. I think you're right, Helen. I think you're right, Helen. So Nadia, you've been reading Elvis What Happened, taking notes. Send me the highlights, Nadia, the highlights of it. I'm going to get that book when I can find it for 20 quid. £20, and I'm going to buy it. But the problem is, Elvis What Happened is like over £100. And I'm not spending £100 on a book. I could probably get a PDF, but I want the actual book. I want the actual book. And I keep hearing that Anne Margaret's book was amazing, Teresa. Right, let's quickly see if I can play some of these clips quickly before my wife gets home with the kids. We'll do it. Actually, they'll... Right. Let's see if it's going to work.
Yet he never tried to go further than kissing her. No, he didn't. There was an agreement, I guess, he made with himself that the woman that he decided to take for his wife, he was going to keep her that way until he married her.
See, so she says, remember, this is her own words. Elvis did not have sex with Priscilla. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone says to me that Priscilla was having sex with Elvis when she was 14 are wrong. Her own words.
Yes, it's true. Yet he never tried to go further than kissing her. No, he didn't. There was an agreement, I guess, he made with himself that the woman that he decided to take for his wife, he was going to keep her that way until he married her.
So, Nadia, did you hear that? So this is what I'm trying to say, Nadia. Don't believe all the stuff in this book. And Helen, I absolutely love Rhonda's channel. Her channel is excellent. And Shauna's. Shauna does a great channel as well. Anne Margaret's book is well written and chapter, and she refers to Elvis as so respectful. When you read the book, you can see Anne Margaret's deep love of Elvis. Oh, no, I've got a lot of respect for Anne Margaret. She is amazing. I've watched loads of her interviews, and she truly loved Elvis. Elvis obviously loved Anne Margaret, and their time together was very special. It was around 1964, wasn't it? And I still say that Elvis in 1964 classed himself as a single man. I don't believe that Elvis was properly with Priscilla till 1966. And that is just my views. Right, let's watch the next one.
Service, you stayed in Germany. When you were 15, he says, come live with me in Memphis. And your parents said, okay. In my parents' defense,
right, I'm gonna jump in on that straight away. She was not 15 when Elvis invited her to America. It is a blatant lie. That is a lie, in my opinion. Not fact. I'm not allowed to say it's fact. And even in this book, she says she was 16. But we know, we've done our research, haven't we, guys? Yeah? She did not move to America. She did not visit America till she was 17. And then she moved. There's a small chance she might have been in the latter part of 16. But I think she was 17 when she holidayed there twice. And then nearly 18 when she moved to America. Thanks, Teresa. So we'll play that again, yeah? Let's have a look. Now, this is where we're getting the lies and the twisted truth.
Service, you stayed in Germany. When you were 15, he says, come live with me in Memphis. And your parents said, okay. In my parents' defense,
she talks about her parents then, but I think it's irrelevant. The point is, there is a blatant lie being said. And that went round the world in 1985, I'm guessing. That went round the world and everyone believed it. That Priscilla had been asked to move in with Elvis into Graceland when she was 15 years old. And that just makes everyone think that he was a paedophile. And this is so wrong because it's not the truth. It is not the truth. She moved to America when she was nearly 18. They didn't get married until she was nearly 22. So I defend Elvis on that one point. And this is why we're here, to get to the truth, guys. So if you're watching this and you're a Priscilla fan, please understand that there are some mistruths being said, in my opinion, by Priscilla about Elvis that has made the whole world think of Elvis badly, that has painted Elvis out as this paedophile, groomer, controlling, abusive man. And that is not what he was. That is not what he was. So, and we're going to stick up for Elvis. We're going to search for the truth. We're going to do it together. That's why we're here. And if there's any Priscilla fans watching this channel, I have nothing against you. Nothing. I want you to join my channel so that we can change your mind, so that you can forget the fairy tale, because this is a fake fairy tale that many of you have fallen for. You've all fallen for this perfect marriage that only went wrong because Elvis was unfaithful. That is not the truth. It was not a perfect marriage that only went wrong because Elvis was unfaithful. That is not the truth. We want the truth. Elvis isn't here to stick up for himself, so we're going to do it as through our comments on YouTube channels, and there's many of them.
6 years you lived there before he decided to marry you. In those 6 years of sleeping with him every night, he never had intercourse with you. You wrote in your book that there were times when you begged him. I even wrote it down. You said, I'm a woman who needs to make love and to feel desired by her man. Please don't make me beg.
See, right, Nadia, that's for you. She clearly says that she did not have sex with Elvis. She clearly says that she begged him to have sex. She begged Elvis to have sex, and Elvis said no. And that's because Elvis did not want to have sex with a girl as young as that. That says it all. Elvis did the right thing. Elvis did the right thing. He lived by his morals, and he did not have sex with an underage girl. I'm going to play it one more time because it's so important.
6 years you lived there before he decided to marry you. In those 6 years of sleeping with him every night, he never had intercourse with you. You wrote in your book that there were times when you begged him. I even wrote it down. You said, I'm a woman who needs to make love and to feel desired by her man. Please don't make me beg.
Okay, that's it, guys. Come on. Proof from her own mouth. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Barbara Walters' interview. I think she was quite hurtful. I think she was putting words into Priscilla's mouth. And I think the type of questions that Barbara Walters was asking Priscilla was very disrespectful to Elvis's memory. I think she's out of order. But I'm going to use this Barbara Walters interview to prove Priscilla's wrongdoing. Right. So that's right, Nadia. Priscilla is very good at alternative facts. Yes, alternative facts, Helen. And Helen also... Yes, the research that Rhonda does is amazing, Helen. Amazing. Right. So let's go to the next one.
And then he'd go away. Then he'd go away. Finally, after 6 years, he asked you to marry him. How come? What happened? I think the pressure was on somewhat, too. We've been together for 6 years. The relationship is going well. The suggestion, I think, came from Colonel Parker. Either, maybe you should either get married or go on. If you're not going to get married, then what are you doing? What did you think of Colonel Parker?
Right. So just I'm going to play that again. 6 years before the marriage. Yeah, but right, Nadia, again, I'm always going to pick up on your comments, Nadia, because you're a smart girl, but there was no 6 years before the marriage. Yeah? Yes, he met her when she was 14 in 1959, but for the first 2 to 2.5 years, he never even spoke to her again. Yeah, there was letters. Yeah, but the truth is, it wasn't until 62 that they started talking again. So there is no 6 years. There is, doesn't she go, I think 63 or 62, she goes over for a couple of holidays. So there's no 6 years. You can knock 2 years off straight away. So I want to be more factual and get to the truth. He met a fan. Priscilla was a fan. Now, the rock and roll stars of the late 50s, early 60s were mainly teenagers. Elvis was a rock and roll star. You could say the same for the Beatles and for the Rolling Stones and for Jerry Lee Lewis or any rock and roll star. Their fans were teenagers. Elvis met a fan that he felt a connection with at a time in his life where he was very lonely, still grieving the loss of his mother. He was in a strange land in Germany, and she was American. She was for a 14-year-old, she was stunningly beautiful, and she looked older in her years. And most men were taken by her beauty, which is clearly in her book. She was One Direction. I actually quite like One Direction, Nadja, but she was clearly stunning, and Elvis was taken by her. And even when he went back to America, he had this memory of this very beautiful young lady, and he thought after a few years she would get a bit more older and that there was a possible future for them. I do think that. But the truth is, it wasn't 6 years. When they say that Elvis and Priscilla were together for 14 years, it's complete rubbish. It is complete rubbish. They got engaged in 66, at the end of 66, and they were finished and over by March 68. Look, guys, 66 didn't even count because it was December. So they were over by 68. Look at my fingers. 67, 68, and it's over. It's over. Yeah? They were together 2 years. 2 years. It didn't count after that because the marriage was broken. She had been caught up being unfaithful just after the baby was born. So whatever Elvis did after 68, it was fair game. Yeah? And don't forget, she went on to do other things. Obviously, the most famous one is Mike Stone. But come on, guys. They weren't together hardly at all. This wasn't a 14-year marriage. This wasn't a 14-year relationship. That is a lie. It is a lie. So you get what I'm saying. I'm sorry that I'm so passionate and I'm shouting, and it just means so much to me that we just get to the truth, because I really do feel that Elvis has been so badly portrayed, so badly. And we've proved everything just by the Priscilla film. The Priscilla film just completely has it in for Elvis. And then we move on and we talk about when Lisa Marie died and how that lawsuit situation was going on between Priscilla and Lisa Marie and Riley Keough. Obviously, Lisa Marie sadly passed away. But you get it, guys. You get it. And then you've got this other situation with Bridget Cruz, the auctioneer, and their lawsuit with Priscilla. And that's ultimately based on the selling off of Elvis's artifacts and also the making of the Priscilla movie. You look up the Bridget Cruz lawsuit with Priscilla Presley, guys. She is an auctioneer. She's been selling off loads of Elvis's stuff. Now, where has it come from? I'm sure that Priscilla, in my opinion, just my view, that Priscilla has been giving her a lot of these artifacts and asking her to sell them through her auction company. And Bridget Cruz supposedly stepped in to save Priscilla from going bankrupt. She was 60 days away from insolvency. And then Priscilla has gone back on the deal, and that's why there's a lawsuit. But ultimately, they were flogging Elvis's stuff. Yeah? Flogging his stuff. That's a British way of saying it. So all her actions do not speak the actions of a woman that, I still love Elvis. He's the love of my life. That's not the actions. The way she treated her daughter, how she's grieving over her daughter, and also the lawsuits. And when you go, you can pick any decade. You can pick any decade. You can go. So it started in the 80s, 90s, noughties, 2010, 2020, any decade. Look at any interview, and the way that she portrays Elvis is wrong, is in a bad light. Yes, Priscilla will spend most of the interview telling everyone how great Elvis is. Yeah. But then the comments come in. But this, but that. The interviewer asks negative questions. Yes, nodding her head, agreeing with the interviewer. That's how smart she is. The interviewers play into her hands. So she waits for them to ask these questions, and she's like wheeling them in on, like, you know when you're fishing, she's wheeling the interviewers in. You're hooked. Got you. They ask the question, and then they play into her hands, and then she gives the answer that makes Elvis look bad, that makes her look like the victim, and we're all falling for it because we're all mugs. That's how I get it. That's how I see it, guys. I think that was the last clip. Let's have a look. Oh no, there was one more I wanted to play. Let me see.
Day when you get married in 1967, and then 9 months later, your baby was born.
Right, here we are. Let's play that one.
And then 9 months later, your baby was born. Yes. You think the baby was conceived in your wedding? I would say so. And here you have this beautiful baby. And now you find, as you write, now you find that your husband doesn't want to go to bed with you. Yes.
Okay, guys, we're going to go out on a high. Do you hear that? And here you have this beautiful baby, 1968. The baby was born 1st of February. And now your husband doesn't want to go to bed with you. Guys, come on. This is as good as it gets. This is from the horse's mouth. She's just had a baby, and Barbara Walters has just said to her, and your husband doesn't want to go to bed with you. But then she agrees to that. Come on, guys. This is evidence. This is proof. I know that she did have sex with Elvis after the baby was born, because she admitted it on the Loose Women interview in the UK. And I bet if I keep digging, I'll find other times when she's admitted it. This thing that Elvis doesn't sleep with a woman that's had a baby is a total load of crap. A total lie, in my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. Let's play it again.
Records on it and the records went all.
Right.
No, and he threw a chair at you. And then it had records on it and the records went all over the place. Priscilla, will you tell me what was so wonderful about him? The real him, the real Elvis, was generous, wonderful, sensitive, considerate. Finally.
See that?
And then he'd go away. And then he'd go away. No, and he'd throw a chair at you. And it had records on it, and the records went all over the place. Comes that happy day when you get married in 1967.
Right, I'm going to do it again.
And then 9 months later.
Right, hang on. I played you the wrong one. I'm going to do it again.
Comes that happy day when you get married in 1967. And then 9 months later, your baby was born. Yes. You think the baby was conceived in your wedding? I would say so. And here you have this beautiful baby. And now you find, as you write, now you find that your husband doesn't want to go to bed with you. Yes. Elvis had a heart.
I rest my case, guys. I rest my case. Now, we know, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe so that we can go live together. It's really important. 78% of you don't subscribe, so please subscribe. If any of you want to become members, it's only $1 a month. It's nothing. It means everything to me. And if you want to buy me a coffee, buy me a coffee. But listen, guys, doesn't that just say it all? Now, we know on this channel that in 1968, and she's admitted it in this book using a pseudo name, we know that when the baby was between 6 and 8 weeks old, that Priscilla had had an affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, the guy who owned the dance studio. We know that. So she has just asked that question. I'm going to play it again.
Comes that happy day when you get married in 1967. And then 9 months later, your baby was born. Yes. You think the baby was conceived in your wedding? I would say so. And here you have this beautiful baby. And now you find, as you write, now you find that your husband doesn't want to go to bed with you. Yes.
See? Come on. That is like, to me, that is like gold. Because the only reason that he didn't want to have sex with her once the baby was born, 6 to 8 weeks after, was because she had been unfaithful. Elvis had caught her being unfaithful 6 to 8 weeks after the baby was born. This is something that she has admitted, guys. So if you guys are Priscilla fans, any of you, and you're welcome to our channel, I have nothing against Priscilla fans. I'm not a Priscilla hater. I'm just trying to get to the truth for Elvis. That there's no mention in that interview. There is no mention of her being with the dance instructor. She does not say a word of it. Now, if that interview was carried out fairly, what Barbara Walters should have said was, oh, so you had the baby and then 6 to 8 weeks later you were unfaithful. That is what should be getting asked here, so that we, the fans, back in 1985, heard the truth. We were not given the truth. And because of that, for the last, you work it out, guys, 49 years or whatever it is, I don't even know how many years, the last 45 odd years, the world believes that. The world believes that Elvis would not sleep with Priscilla because she'd had a baby, when the truth is, Elvis would not sleep with Priscilla because she was unfaithful with the dance instructor. Come on, guys, are we getting it now? Hi, Eileen. Don't worry, we're still going to go on a few more minutes, but welcome, Eileen. So, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say to you? That it's so unfair that Elvis has been portrayed, and the interviewers are part of the problem. The interviewers are joining in on the lie. So wrong, and Elvis can't do nothing about it. Elvis can't stand up for himself. If I was Elvis now, Eileen, it's not true. It's not true. Eileen, I just want you to know that I don't believe for a second that Elvis did not want to sleep with Priscilla because she'd had a baby, even if it was to heal. I do not believe it for a second. Elvis did not want to sleep with Priscilla because 6 to 8 weeks after the baby was born, she'd been unfaithful. Now, you ask any man, right? You say to any man, if your wife, 6 to 8 weeks after a baby was born, slept with another man, would you want to have sex with her? Any man, I challenge you to ask any man on the planet, would you have sex with your wife 6 to 8 weeks after a baby was born? And I'm telling you now, none of them will say yes. Not one. Imagine me with my wife. We have a baby. She's unfaithful. And then would I sleep with her 8 weeks after the baby's born if she's been having an affair with a different man? Of course not. Come on. Even Annie has joined in. Hi, Annie. Welcome to our little get together. But I'm sorry, Annie, you're getting it wrong when it comes to Priscilla and Elvis. You're getting it wrong. It's all about research. No, it's not true. It is not true. Eileen, Annie, I disagree with you. He did still desire her. But what happened was she'd been unfaithful. She'd been with another man having an affair. That's it. Come on. Unfortunately, I can't stay much longer because I think my wife's just got home. Annie, I respect you to air your views. I just completely disagree with you. I actually think you've got it wrong. They were intimate. Yeah, I actually don't think Elvis. No. Let me backtrack. I don't believe for a second that Elvis, after she'd been unfaithful to him, was intimate with her. Not for a second. I think she changes her story to suit her own narrative. In her book, she said that Elvis confronted her about SP affair and she denied it, and we don't know if Elvis bought that. Yeah, thanks, Nadia. So you need to do some more research. I'm going to have to go. I've got to go. The kids are here. But Annie, you need to do some more research because I think you're not right. Thanks, everyone. I have to go. I have to keep commenting.